Here we go. Episode 5, The OC Show. I am your host, Donnie Henderson. Welcome to our 5th episode. We took a little bit of time off. We had some traveling we had to do as a family. Had a really great time, but we are back just in time for the fall to start up when we're going to really start ramping up, having a lot of good shows. I'm very, very encouraged the direction that we're going right now. We've got some other sponsors lined up. We've got some other things planned for the OC show that's going to make this get bigger and bigger and hopefully be very enjoyable to everybody who sees this. So, like we always do, we start off with our sports jewel. Our sports jewel brought to you by Simflix. If you want your special event to be captured in a creative and professional way, weddings, graduations, birthdays, church events, contact Simflix. That's who you need. From photo shoots to videography services, Simflix offers top-notch service with a unique touch. Simflix is affordable, dependable, and will not disappoint in any way. Contact Sim Henderson at 586-491-5382 for any question on services and availability. That's Simflix, area code 586-491-5382, anywhere in the Metro Detroit area. Sorry, Virginia friends, we can't have Sim come down here unless it's a very, very special event. Or to Florida. Sorry, Florida friends, can't have him come there. But all across the nation, hopefully at one point, one day, we'll be able to get the OC show touching all areas, but Simflix is only offered in the Metro Detroit area. Sports Jewel, again, brought to you by Simflix. Today's Sports Jewel is very, very special because we finally have someone. We finally have someone who has guessed correctly what it means. What does it mean? The OC show. What does that mean? I've had several people come to me with positive feedback, but they always, well, not always, a lot of them ask, what does OC stand for? What does that mean? Does it mean old coach? Because, yeah, I used to coach and I am kind of getting up there in age. Does it mean that there's a lot of different things? There's a lot of different things that actually my uncle said that I'm not going to say because he's kind of a interesting character. But OC, what does OC stand for? Well, we go to the state of Michigan. Listener Danny F did correctly give us what OC stand for. He guessed correctly. And so, what does OC mean? What does OC mean? Finally, you finally get to know after all these weeks and weeks, a couple months. OC means, that's a dramatic pause for you folks that didn't know. OC means only child. I grew up as an only child, and for all the only children out there, this show is not only for you, it's for all of us that have always had that show in our head. I've always had a show in my head. Sports show. I've always had sports thoughts in my head. I've always had thoughts about a lot of different things in my head. And being an only child, growing up as an only child, I never had a sibling to share that with, whether it be younger or older, for them to encourage me or discourage me. But so I've always had myself and all of the things that are in my head, all that show prep, all the show material that I had in my head, I have to finally get out. And I'm getting it out now here on the OC show. So had to be creative, had to think of something. Didn't just want to call it, the Donnie Henderson podcast, the Donnie Henderson show. I wanted to give it a little bit of a unique name. So we're going to go with the OC show. And for all my only children friends out there, I'm doing this for us, the ones that didn't have brothers and sisters. The OC show brought to you again by Simflix, and the Sports Jewel was the unveiling of the OC show. But now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of today's show. It's August. What does it mean that it's August? Well, summertime. Summertime. It's hot. It's hot outside. Right now, it's heat index currently of probably about 100 degrees right now. But I'd rather it be hot than cold. We'll talk about that at a different time. I did grow up in the Metro Detroit area. I grew up in Michigan. And so people say, you should be used to the cold weather. I don't like cold weather, not one bit. I'd rather it be what it is right now with the heat index of 100 degrees than it be 4 degrees. We'll debate that another time. But it's August. It's hot outside. It's almost back to school time. My girls are getting ready for back to school. Whether they like it or not, they're getting ready to go back to school. It's all good for all the parents who love the kids getting ready to get back to school, to get back to a more structured, normal uh, routine. But fall does mean back to school. What else does fall mean? Fall means SummerSlam. SummerSlam for you WWE fans. We are going to get into professional wrestling, but not today. I thought about getting into it today, but we're going to get into professional wrestling at one point or another. Is professional wrestling a sport? Is it not a sport? That's going to be a subject for another show. That's going to be a good show. Don't miss that one. SummerSlam for the WWE fans, but for real, what does August mean? What does the end of summer mean? It's the start of football season. College football, professional football, football season. It's great. We love football as American sports fans. We love it. It's our thing. No matter what region you live in, football is king. Now, you ask me, what's my favorite sport? I'll tell you real quick. I'll give you a little brief overview of my personal thing. What's my favorite sport? My favorite sport is baseball. It always has been, always will be. I love baseball. It's what gave me my competitive, I think what kind of groomed me to be as competitive as I am. I love baseball. I'll always love baseball. It's my favorite sport. My favorite sport to watch is college football, the tradition, and another show topic. This realignment of all the conferences, the teams moving here, there, going up and down, all the money that's involved. The tradition used to be the biggest draw for me for college football, but that seems to be being taken away as far as these conferences being moved around. That being said, college football is still my favorite to watch, but as far as a spectator sport, football is it. Football is king in this country. And for the next few shows, the next 4 shows, this counting being the first show of the 4, I am going to give you my predictions of the NFL. I'm giving you my NFL predictions. And I'm going to start off in the East. I'm going to do AFC East and NFC East. And I'm going to give you my predictions of their standings and how I think it's going to play out for the NFL, and giving you at the end my Super Bowl pick, playoff picks. But we're going to go division by division, and I'm going to go starting off with the AFC East. Each, for all of you, for those of you that don't know, each football division has 4 teams in it, 4 teams in each division, and each division will have a division winner. So I'm going to start off by going with my 4th place pick, 3rd place pick, 2nd place pick, then my 1st place pick for each division. Starting with the AFC East. AFC East in 4th place, I am going to go with the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots. For years and years and years, the New England Patriots ruled the AFC East. They had Tom Brady. They still have Bill Belichick. But the AFC East has kind of caught up with the New England Patriots. Despite having the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick, I'm not sure I trust Mac Jones in running a successful NFL offense. I just don't trust him. He could prove me wrong, and for his sake, I hope he does. But I just don't trust him. They had the 17th best offense last year, which puts him somewhere in the middle. So I'm not going to count him out, but I just don't see a lot of success out of Bill Belichick and the boys. The defense was average, but I don't think they'll be able to carry them past being last in the division. They were 8-9 last season and missed the playoffs. So third place in the AFC East. Now it's going to get a little difficult because the AFC East is a pretty decent division. The Miami Dolphins. 9-8 last season, lost in the AFC wildcard round. Now, the biggest key for me with them is, will Tua Tagovailoa play the entire season? Now, we all know that, football fans know that really disturbing, picture of him last year when he got hit. He was, laying motionless on the field. His health is a big question. But if Tua's on the field, along with Tyreek Hill, that offense is as good as any in the NFL. As good as any in the AFC East for sure. The team is scary in more ways than one. They could win the division, or they could be lying on the field just like Tua was last season. My pick for the Miami Dolphins, third place in the AFC East. Second place in the AFC East, I'm going to go with the New York Jets. The New York Jets, 7-10 last season. They probably, as far as NFL stories go, were the biggest story of the offseason. Why? Because they signed four-time MVP, four-time MVP, four-time MVP, Aaron Rodgers, former Green Bay Packer. I know him very well because my team, and I'll get to my team in another show, but my team played Aaron Rodgers twice a year, and I saw firsthand what Aaron Rodgers can do. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But the thing about Aaron Rodgers is this. Aaron Rodgers, as great as he is and all the MVPs that he has one, and it's a slight flaw when it comes to the big picture, but it's probably a huge flaw to him. He only has one ring. He has one Super Bowl championship. He's trying to get his second one. And if he can go to New York and do it, that's going to all but solidify his legacy as being one of the greatest of all time. Aaron Rodgers brings instant credibility to a franchise starving for some playoff success. And after, the defense that they have is top notch, highlighted by Detroit's on. And I got to give him some love because he's from Detroit. Sauce Gardner. The Jets are not to be messed with. They could very well win the division, but I'm not picking them to win the division because I'm picking to win the AFC East this season, just like they did last season, just like they did the season before that, and the season before that, the Buffalo Bills. Don't think they're as strong as they were last year, but I don't see the Patriots, Dolphins, or Jets taking over that throne in the AFC East. They were 13-3, lost in the divisional round. Buffalo Bills, led by Josh Allen, should win that division again. They seem to be the most balanced group, top to bottom, in that division. Maybe not as dominant because of the improvements within the division. I don't think it's going to be as easy because the Jets have improved. If the Dolphins stay healthy, they'll be good. And Bill Belichick is still Bill Belichick, so they're going to be scheming just well for the Buffalo Bills as well. But I believe that Buffalo Bills will not be as dominant, but they should still be solid enough to win the AFC East. So, just to review my picks for the AFC East, I've got we've got in fourth place, we've got the New England Patriots. Then we have third place, the Miami Dolphins. Second place, I have the New York Jets. And first place, we have the Buffalo Bills. We're going to stay with the East, and we're going to go switch conferences, and we're going to go to the NFC East. The NFC East. After moving to Virginia, I moved from the NFC North country. Now I'm in NFC East country because I'm closest to my pick. For fourth place in the division, the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders, who are probably going to change their name next year, and they'll change their name next year, and they'll change their name, they'll change their colors. Doesn't matter. They change owners. Doesn't matter because they're not going to be any good in this division, even though they were 8-1 last season, missed the playoffs. Ron Rivera coaches a solid team, but I don't trust them with the quarterback that they have, Sam Howell. Who is he? What's he going to do? What's he up to? No one knows. They don't know. They're not going to do any good in this division. This division is too tough to be running around with Sam Howell as your quarterback. For the sake of Washington fans and the new ownership group, including the one and only Magic Johnson, all of them are on bended knee because they're hoping and praying that Sam Howell can pull off what Brock Purdy pulled off last season and just pull off a miracle and be that stable at quarterback to lead them to some wins. The biggest addition that this team had was the new offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, but I don't see Eric Bieniemy having any of the success that he had in Kansas City. I just don't see it. I don't think Eric Bieniemy is the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, he was a factor for sure, but that's more Andy Reid. Eric Bieniemy, if he was what people think that he is, I believe he'd be a head coach. So he just kind of made a lateral move, going from Kansas City to Washington, be offensive coordinator. Prove me wrong, Eric Bieniemy. Prove me wrong, but I'm probably not wrong. Washington Commanders, whatever you want to call them, 4th place. Moving on to 3rd place in this tough NFC East. We got the New York Giants. New York Giants. Let's get New York all out of the way today because who cares about New York sports? Oh, whoops, sorry. New York Giants, 3rd place. 9-7-1, lost in the division round to the Eagles last season in the playoffs. After a decent campaign last season, the Giants have a lot of work to do in a tough division. Again, we're going to talk about the quarterback. Quarterback's most important position in football. Daniel Jones. I'm not sold on Daniel Jones. I'm just not. They're sold on him. They're paying him like $160 million. I'm not sold on Daniel Jones. He's decent. He's all right. But I'm not thinking that he's going to lift the New York Giants to the top of the division. Saquon Barkley was in the news a lot with all the other running backs because of his contract status. He signed a measly 1-year, $11 million contract, which seems like the New York Giants are getting a bargain because Saquon Barkley is and will be the reason that they will be successful. I'm not going to sleep on the Giants. I think that they could possibly hit 2nd place, but I'm picking them to be 3rd place because I just don't trust Daniel Jones. I don't trust Daniel Jones. And I can go to another quarterback I don't trust, and I'm coming up to him next. I'm just not convinced that he will do what he needs to do. 3rd place, New York Giants. 2nd place in the division. People are going to hate this. People are going to hate it, but I guess what? I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm probably right. We'll come back in January and February to see how right or wrong I was, but I'm right on this. I know I'm right. 2nd place, NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys. Now look, either love them or hate them. America's team. I'm one of the rare people that I'm just indifferent. I don't hate the Cowboys. I don't love them. But they're interesting. They're for sure interesting. Jerry Jones makes them interesting. I could care less if they win or lose. That said, they have all the tools to be Super Bowl champions. They do. They have all the tools to be Super Bowl champions. They just happen to be in the division with the best team in the NFC. We'll get to them later. The receiving core is strong, highlighted by CeeDee Lamb and the addition of Brandon Cooks. Tony Pollard will get the bulk of the carries with the departure of Zeke Elliott, which I think is an upgrade. Tony Pollard is the real deal, I believe. The defense is more than capable with Micah Parsons. The question is, can Dak Prescott take care of the ball? I had reservation putting them 2nd place and not putting them 3rd place because Dak Prescott's throwing picks in training camp. He's throwing picks already. He had the most interceptions in the league last season and only played 12 games. I mean, if Dak is on, he's decent. He's a decent quarterback, but he's turning the ball over. You can't win turning the ball over. You can't win in this league having the most interceptions in the league. Or look at Brett Favre. For years he had most interceptions, but it's not Brett Favre ain't walking through that door. Dak Prescott has to take care of the ball, and if he does take care of the ball, they could, dare I say, win the Super Bowl. But do I trust Dak Prescott? No, I don't. I don't trust Dak Prescott. Why should I? Has he given anybody any reason for us to trust him? No. So, 2nd place. That's being very, very generous. I had to go back and forth with them. Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, one in the same quarterback, in my opinion, in a lot of ways. 1st place in the NFC East, easy. Out of all the ones I did for this show prep today, Philadelphia Eagles, 14-3 last year, defending NFC champs. Not only the most complete team in the division, probably the most complete team in the entire conference, if not the NFL. Top to bottom, the Eagles are loaded, led by Jalen Hurts, whom I do trust at quarterback. I trust Jalen Hurts over Sam Howell. I trust Jalen Hurts over Tua Tagovailoa. I trust Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott. That's why, a big reason why, the Philadelphia Eagles will win for the 2nd year in a row the NFC East They are, in the words, and we talked about wrestling earlier, in the words of Ric Flair, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. I don't see anybody beating the man, the team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Those are my picks. We're going to have another show here in the next couple of days. We're going to rip these off because the NFL season is coming up before we know it. And I can't wait. Sports fans can't wait. So, next show, we're going to go through 2 more divisions, give you my predictions to see what we can see. And hopefully, I'll see you next time on the OC Show. Thanks so much.